Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Resist them. Okay, I'm going to pull a verse out. So in the Bible, James 4:7. Let's go to King James. I got a list of them here. So submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Now the key part that I really want to talk about in this one is the second part where it says resist the devil and he will flee from you. So this is something that I heard as a child growing up in the church, reading in the Bible, going to church again and again for years and years and years. And I really didn't think that it was true for me, or that would work for me. And yet, very recently in the last 4 years, it absolutely has. That's what the Great Wall of China is all about. So if you've been with this channel for more than 6 months or a year, you know I've made some videos about when we go into isolation. It's like you're putting up this barrier. You don't open up to nobody. You won't talk to anyone. If you have to, it's very plain, simple, to the point. And you go into this isolation phase. This is actually a very, very necessary and very important part of your development, because your brain is reevaluating all of your beliefs, all of your decisions, all of your rules, all of your values, everything. It's also you finally making a decision that you're like, no more. I refuse to allow people to cross my boundaries. Not only that, but it's a phase where you finally have developed and are, key phrase, developing your boundaries. You're saying no more. And that is what that verse is talking about. James 4:7, let me reread it. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. See, the devil, narcissists, are very lazy people. They're persistent to a degree, because it's kind of like, it's like they could make a lot more money over here with you. Yeah, if they can get you to do it, they can make a lot of more money, but they've been wasting a lot of time. The time's going by. They're not making money. It's not working. Like, oh, screw this. I got to move on to the next one. And that's exactly what happens. Once they realize you have said no, that's it, you're not changing your mind, and you have committed to it, and you got the Great Wall of China. Once they realize, like, oh, they're not wishy-washy anymore, they're not changing their mind, oh, okay, and then they move on. So do not think for a moment that somehow you're not following the Word of God, or you don't have faith. This is the stage where you are massively in faith. You are deciding, it's really, call it an unconscious level, but it's really on a spiritual level. You're like, no, I'm not doing that no more. I'm done. And that's probably a word or phrase that you might have verbally said to the narcissist or one of their flying monkeys, like, no, I'm done. It's like, I'm done. When I said that, there was like this circular expansion from my solar plexus, my abdomen, that expanded all the way out to the end of the earth. It was like something just said, no, I'm done. And my cutoff game is superior. Just yesterday, somebody showed me their true colors, and I was like, oh, I'm done. I mean, it's fast. It's like, it used to be years I'd put up with people's bullshit. Now I'm like when I realized, like, oh, they're doing that on purpose. Like, oh, I'm done. I'm done. Shut, close the throat, block them. It doesn't matter. I block my cell phone everywhere. I'm done. And you know what? I feel a whole lot better now. It's quicker. It's faster. It's simpler. It's easier. And it's much more enjoyable now. Okay, so now this leads us up to a word that I'm going to talk about that you've heard of, that church people, your mother, your father, your teachers, a lot of people have said this to you, but you didn't really quite get it, because I don't think they got it, and they definitely didn't say it the right way. So here's something I want to go back to that verse, James, let's see, let me pull it up. I think it was like James 4 verse 7 or whatever I said it was. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, James 4 verse 7, submit yourselves to the Lord. And sorry, here it is. Submit yourselves therefore to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Now the reason I want to bring this up is something has been happening in my life. So what I want to kind of preface right now is these things that the Bible was teaching us, beyond a shadow of a doubt, they are coming true. I had a conversation with someone tonight, and they were talking about this stuff, and I said, man, this is something literally just happened today. I'm going to get into that because that's why I'm so enthusiastic about this video right now. This is kind of like, oh wow, God, you really did it. I mean something in real life. So first of all, what I want to say about James 4:7, you resist the devil and he will flee, is when I was about 2.5, 3, 4 years ago, when I was going through that really deep isolation phase, Wall of China, Great Wall of China, huge boundaries to everybody, I started to realize like, oh, I get it. They're trying to wear me down. And they're starting to realize, like, wait a minute, he's not stopping. It's actually make him pray more and turn more to God. It wasn't even that. It was they were realizing, oh, he's not going to stop. It's like, no, I'm not. And when and what I realized, like, oh, I get the game now. All you have to do is just keep persisting, just keep going. And they're eventually going to go, holy shit, he's not going to stop. Like, hell no. And here's the thing about it now. My power now when it comes to dealing with this stuff is way stronger than it's ever been. And on top of that, because I saw it shift and I saw the effect that it had, my belief, my faith, my belief in it is 100 times more powerful in it than ever before, as in resisting the devil. So you can understand that verse, my whole life I was like, yeah, well, it doesn't work for me, or that's not true for me. It is true. Well, at the very least I can say it is true now. So here's the deal. Each of these steps is a building block, and it makes you more confident, more powerful, and you can clearly see why you needed to do it and why and what you need to do next. Now watch this. So here's the word, really it's a phrase that you've heard your whole life that I was talking about a few minutes ago, and no one really said it to you the right way. At least they never said it to me, and I'm just right now, I'm finally clearly understanding the way it should be said, what it really means. So here it is. You need to start holding everyone to a high standard, not a higher standard, to a high standard. Now here's what I mean. Now, I'm not saying walk around and tell people how to do their jobs, and no, I'm talking about when people deal with you. People that are in your life, people that interact with you, friends, family, relationships, etc. Sorry, but I'm feeling really, really good. There's something I'm going to add to this after this that's going to blow you away. Okay, so sorry I'm being so loud and powerful right now. I've turned the volume to the microphone down, the input, so it should be a little bit softer. So here's what it means to hold everyone to a high standard, not a higher, but a high standard, which is above higher, okay? It means people have to treat you well, period, end of sentence. And if they don't, you cut them out of your life, period. Now, what I used to think that meant, and a lot of people think it means, is like, oh, hey man, you got to treat me better. You got to be better to me. Hey, you can't do that. No. See, it makes you feel like, so it's my job to hold them to, like, I got to make them be a better person. Wow, that's going to be a lot of work. No, that's their job. If they don't hold themselves to a high standard, then you cut them out of your life. Period. End of sentence. Your only job, when we say hold people to a high standard, is have an awesome, an amazing cutoff game. A powerful cutoff game to where you're like, it's like literally the moment I realize, like, oh, they're messing with me on purpose. Oh, that little dick. Boom. I'm done. Bye. For that part, that's it. For part 2, that's it. If someone is not treating you at a high level and respect, and I don't, and I do, by the way, I do not mean being submissive and cowering down. No, now you're being a narcissist. No, I just mean someone who treats you well, someone who's good to you, etc., etc. The moment they start playing games and being negative, cutting it down, gaslighting, any of that stuff, you're gone. They're gone. They're done. Okay, now, so one thing that I've really been realizing, a lot of the stuff that's in the Bible, it's all starting to come true. From, that Great Wall of China, like resist the devil, and the devil's going to be like, yep, can't get to this one, wasting too much time, got to move on. See, let me add a little bit. All you need to do is make sure that you're persistent. It's not even that. You need to let them know, like, yeah, I'm not stopping. Once they realize that, that's when they move on. Okay, so I think this is part 3 of the next part for sure. One thing that a lot of people don't realize, those of us who were raised in the Christian church, is Jesus does not want you to be a doormat. That is an absolute, complete lie that a lot of Christians will put on you and say, oh, you're supposed to let me walk all over you. You're supposed to be a doormat. No, you are not. You are a child of God. You are to stand upright, stand your ground. Period. Why do you think Jesus taught us things like don't feed your pearls of wisdom to swine? Because you're just going to get caught up in all their arguing and disagreeing, and they're going to change what they said. Oh, I didn't really mean that. I meant this. It's a waste of time. You're not supposed to submit to these people. You're not supposed to let these people beat you up or run you into the ground, etc. No, you're supposed to stand your ground. And when Jesus says turn the other cheek, he literally means turn and walk away. Ignore them. What's the number one thing we teach about narcissist abuse? Walk away. Don't get caught up in their arguments. Just ignore them. One thing that you're going to have to realize, or probably already have or will very soon, there is a huge portion of the church where, I'm just going to say it, they're evil. You ever heard the phrase sheep in wolves' clothing? Yep, that's right. It's the leaders and the people. Now, I'm not saying all leaders, not all elders, not all of them. In fact, I've had a very good experience, especially with elders. But there's a lot of people in the church. My number is, I'm going to say 40% right now, if not more. And the rest of them are completely blinded, and they are. What is the word I'm looking for? They are spellbound, literally. A lot of it is they're just too lazy to look up the words in the Bible. What does this word mean? What did it mean back when it was written in the Hebrew or Greek language way back when, etc., etc. They're just too lazy to do it, and therefore they don't really know what the Bible means. They just know what they were told that it means. Here's the thing. The rules, even by the evil side, they allow you to do your due diligence and look up the definitions and meanings. By the way, this man, even though it kind of looks like he is in a cloak, this is Bishop Maramari. He's actually a really, really good man. He's the one who said Satan has taken over the churches, and I have essentially been saying this for decades now. It's kind of odd, and now we need to pray for those who are still in the church, who are still being spellbound. It's kind of weird, but to make this really clear, the Bible was trying to warn us about the people in the churches. The wolves in sheep clothing. Where do you think the wolves in sheep clothing are going to hide? Or where do you think they're going to congregate? With other wolves? No, they're going to congregate with the sheep. That's why they're wearing sheep's clothing. Number 1, hold people to a high standard, meaning cut them out of your life immediately. Have an awesome cutoff game. Boom, you're done. The minute you realize, like, oh, they did that on purpose, they're done. Alright, part 4. Again, this is another thing that you've heard your whole life, but it is now finally coming true, and I'm going to share something with you right now. Now, we've heard how, I know you've heard it on all kinds of narcissist abuse channels and spiritual channels, and even in the Bible, is here's essentially what's going to happen if people mess with, it's kind of funny, I have a hard time using this phrase, but with the chosen ones or with spiritual ones, people that are God's children or close to God. I'm going to tell you right now, they are getting karma bam, like right now. It's not happening 8 months from now, 9 months, a year from now, 2. No, it's happening like right now. It's almost literally instantaneous. So, all right, something happened to me. Okay, this is why it's funny, because this is something that normally would hurt really bad or upset me, or even probably one of you guys. But man, did this empower, I'm gonna say the S word, empowered the shit out of me. It's why I'm so enthusiastic on this video right now. Someone about, I'm gonna say it was about 2.5 years ago, something, 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. They offered to help me with something, and I was like, yeah, sure, you know, and they said, all right, let's do it tomorrow. So when tomorrow came, they just blew me off, and I texted them, hey, what's up, man? And nothing. I bumped into in the garage next day, like, oh yeah, I was busy watching TV, you know, some bullshit like that. Now, I already had plans to take it to someone else to help me fix it, etc., but it's like, no, I know how to do it, I'll do that. And they're really enthusiastic about, like, hey, yeah, let's do it. You know, they're like, hey, let's do it. So then I, say, hey, what's going on? Like, oh, well, let's do it tomorrow. I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. And they were like, no, really, let's do it. And they jerked me around for about 10 days, maybe to 2 weeks, and it fucking hurt. And I realized, like, oh, this motherfucker's just jerking me around. Like, this is just a game. And that actually really hurt me, because they played the nice guy and they're really enthusiastic. Oh, yeah. And at one point, him and, I don't know if it was his bro, I'm not sure what this relation is, friend or whatever. At one point, they kind of walked by and laughed at me. And I realized, like, oh, they're laughing at me. So it's like, oh, I'm done. Boom. And I forget what it was. I'm trying to think what it was that I gave them back or something. Like, yeah, we're done. And like, what's wrong, man? Like, oh, absolutely nothing, man. I just didn't talk to them for a while. I even kind of glared at them, and they're like, oh, shit, this dude's pissed. So I essentially have a one rule strikeout. So you get one strike and you are out. It used to be 2, because I always gave people a second chance. Now here's the difference, okay? The difference is this. It's one thing if someone does something and it was like, it was on accident or something came up, or you felt like you got blown off, but they said, no, really, my mom died or something happened. Like, oh, okay. But then if it happens the second time, like, yeah, well, your cousin's friend's dog's, owner died, so whatever, like, I'm just like, yeah, I'm done. I move on pretty fast. Now here, so that will be what I will say. I'll give someone a 2 strikes or second chance, right? So here's the difference. When I realize, oh, they did that on purpose to hurt me. Oh, we're done. Boom, 1 strike and you are out. If somebody does something to hurt you, to jerk you around, to play mind games, they're done. Boom, you're cut off. Oh, done. And that is the distinction. Was it happenstance? Was it something happened? They got in a car accident, or it was like, oh no, they planned this. Like, they think this is a big joke, or they did this on purpose to hurt me, or what? It's like, they're done. 1 strike, you are gone. Now, here's what I have consciously in the 3D world really been noticing. Everything spiritual people tell us, narcissist abuse channels, the Bible, God is punishing these people faster, almost immediately. It is happening. Here's the deal. Do not feel bad. Feel good. Here's why. They absolutely need to learn their lesson, because clearly they have not learned it. They don't get it. And God is handing out lessons. So I did something. I basically did this. I turned it over to God. I said, nope, God, I'm not even going to visualize or imagine bad things. God, I'm putting faith. I'm just turning it over to you. I don't care. Because I'm not normally like that. Normally I pray to God, like, why, like, punish them, this, that. And I'm like, you know what? No, just whatever. If you're going to do something, you can do something. If you're not, you're not. And all of a sudden I got a quick image. Now here's the weird part about it, or actually really cool part. Let me say this first. You know how you always hear people say, oh, karma's going to get them, God's going to punish them, or God's going to make it right. Yeah, right, sure, never happened in my lifetime. I am telling you, it is happening. So I don't know what it was, but because I'm so tired of this. I'm so exhausted. I just like, God, if you're going to do something great. If not, Moda, I just let it go. I turned it over, and I just I didn't want to have nothing to do with it. And here's what it was. It was a very quick image of someone in his life that, I don't want to give too much detail, but someone in their life, actually, their vehicle, brand new vehicle, had gotten smashed. A lot of times what God will do is punish the people around that person that have been supporting them doing this stuff, i.e. the flying monkeys. And it's also another way to punish them, to show them, like, really, is you sure this is what you want to do? Because here's what will happen over a period of time. It will push those people away on an unconscious or spiritual level, like, man, I got to get away from this person because all these bad things keep happening. Now, they may not even consciously think that or say that out loud. It might just be like, I got to move on because bad things keep happening. So what happened was, the next day after all this went down, and it was a really quick, I figured it out in 36 hours. I was like, oh, they're doing this on purpose. It hurt. I prayed, I let it go, I'm like, whatever. And lo and behold, the day after, I walk by and boom, this other person that's in this person's life, their vehicle was smashed. And for the first time in my life, I know it's going to sound funny or mean or weird, and because I've never felt this way about anyone's bad fortune, but I immediately looked up like I'm looking up to God, and I'm like, you did it! All the pain, all the worry, poof, just disappeared out of my heart, out of my chest. It was replaced with this peacefulness and powerfulness and happiness. You know, you can hear my voice. You know what? I can't hold it back. Like, I'm trying not to talk loud, but it is just coming out. Over the last 2.5, 3 years, I've really been seeing not only the people that have affected me and done things to me purposely in the last few years, but I've even noticed all the way back on, you know what, actually that person actually did have a lot of things, like their life just went upside down after I left them. But it wasn't really that clear, and I didn't see it right away, but I realized, like, yep, you know what, this stuff is true. Another thing I want to tell you, these people have demons in them. They are working with the demons. They can see that you are a child of God. They can see that you have the light. And for those people who see the light and they do stuff and set things up on purpose, they are getting a double whammy. Meaning the people that are doing stuff to you on purpose, they are absolutely getting punished. Here's another one that's coming true. Psalms 105 verse 15. It says, touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm. This is now being reinforced. People are being punished for harming people like this, for harming you, harming their prophets, their God's anointed ones. This is coming true. Okay, here's what I'm trying to say. I'm not asking you to do like an ego talk. Oh yeah, Mike, it's happening. No, I am telling you, it is effing happening. You know, I can look back over the years, and people, it's like, you know what I've noticed? Okay, there's someone that was in my life. It was a young lady. And she had said, you know, I notice when people like really mess with you, like they hurt you, they set you up, like their life goes really bad afterwards. I'm like, oh yeah. Now I noticed it and I did believe it, but I didn't really see it like I do now. That's what I'm trying to say. God has been using you to trap them, to punish them, but also it wasn't really just a trap. It was like, hey man, here is, it's, I don't even want to use the word test, because it's not like, we're going to test you. It's more like, here is an opportunity for you to do the right thing. And when they don't do the right thing, God's like, you know what? I have given you lifetimes of chances. You've had chance after chance. Like, I'm sorry. That's it. I brought in the most loving, kind, forgiving, compassionate empath that I could ever find on the planet. And you still treated them this way. You know what? That's it. Court's adjourned. Now, when I use the word you in this context, I don't mean you guys. I don't mean spiritual empaths, light workers, people that are close to God. I'm talking about the evil, demonic, narcissistic people. Okay, that's who I was talking about. Or people who purposely hurt you. So essentially what's happening is these people, these beings, are having to just face, and I mean head on, face on, their own karma, meaning they're having to deal with their own life lessons. It's like all their lives they've pushed their karma off on, like literally pushed their energy, their karma off onto other people. They have blamed other people, they have shamed other people, they've reverse shamed people, reverse blame, and they've never dealt with their stuff. And God's like, yeah, that's not going to happen anymore. I mean, I've given you a long time to take the appropriate steps to deal with and heal your own stuff. Now I'm going to make you deal with it whether you like it or not. Sorry. And it is an excruciatingly painful thing to deal with. Not necessarily like, oh, it's not even a punishment, but it's like, hey, you have to deal with this stuff. And the thing about it is, myself and you guys, we have been taking steps. We've been reading books. We've been listening to videos. We've been going to therapy. We've been going to healing, healers and healing stuff. And when it comes up, it's not easy to deal with. It is rough. It is nightmare. It's dark night of the soul. It's this, it's that. They've been running away from it. And now God's saying, no, you can't run away anymore. You're going to have to go through the fire. So the image I had was the way God was going to punish this person was by punishing the flying monkeys around them, or the people that are in their lives around them, from family, friends, etc., etc. Because otherwise they're not going to realize that what they just, like this person literally just did something a while back. The very, very, very next day, I'm talking less than 12 hours, maybe even less than 9 hours, boom, this happened. So they may have us for a split second go, it's kind of weird. I did this thing to this person over here, and this just happened to this person over here in my life. Nah, and they'll blow it off, and God's going to keep doing it until they're like, holy shit, every time I set people up, play these mind games, this stuff keeps happening. And then it's going to start happening to them directly. And here's the other thing. They're going to realize there is no escape from this. They're going to have to go through the karma. All of it. You hurt people on purpose. You set them up. You make plans and you follow through with them. You're going to get the double, triple, quadruple to the 10th power. Whammy, whammy, whammy. It's going to happen. And there's nothing that can stop it. Now, here's what I want to ask you guys, and don't do the ego thing if you're not sure, just, but for those of you, who of you are actually seeing the karma almost instantly? It's happening fast. God's allowing you to see it, to know that God is taking care of business. If you're having this experience or have had recently, write it down in the comments. God bless you guys. This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Please click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment. And if you want to support this channel, please buy one of my books, either Cracked Female Code or Why Men Just Don't Get It. And remember, there's a PayPal donation link right there in the description box. God bless you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.